Hey, it's Sarah Jane from Access Your True Nature with your Tuesday dose of Access Your True Nature medicine. And I just wanted to, first of all, just send a shout out to say, I love you. I love you for being part of my tribe. I love that you show up and you share and you grow me and you give me a reason to really love into the work that I do. And I was thinking about this today and this whole thing around visibility. I was talking to a couple of clients about visibility today and how first impressions often impair what we're seeing and how much we can receive. And I was also reading something about how people with curly, crazy hair are taken a lot less seriously than people with straight hair. And I thought, wow, that is so interesting, because I remember hiding for a long time in my own life because I wasn't perfectly put together, or I didn't have makeup on, or my hair was a little crazy, and that maybe people would judge me for being somewhat flaky or somewhat less credible than somebody that looked serious in a business suit and perfect makeup and the perfect body and the perfectly teleprompted script. Hi, Nasreen. And it reminded me of my childhood, and some of you that are maybe my age remember the days of the good old radio serial on television. I remember I used to ride back from school really fast because 1 o'clock on the dot there was this beautiful radio serial, and the imagination of being able to tune in and listen to the words and create your own image of whatever it was really powerful, because there was no filters as to someone else's image of what that looks like. And maybe you know that, when you read a book and then they later make it into a movie and it's just like, oh, it wasn't as good as the book, because your vision of what you're seeing in the translation of that often gets lost in the translation of who you are in your true nature. And it kind of got me thinking about this whole thing around visibility and how much we actually lose in the gift and the depth of words when we have images that are kind of telling us how to interpret it and what it would look like. And remembering how fun it was to actually listen and tune in, knowing we're multisensory and that we're using our senses often as filters rather than a way to practice the subtle senses of being multisensory. And the days of hiding in the fort or under the bed, and I actually remember doing this in my 20s as a way of hiding from my wicked boss at the time. I used to climb in under the desk when I was working in the knitwear industry and hide there and just listen to the words and listen to what was going on without being seen. And how nice it is to sometimes crawl under the covers, or just use one of the senses and really enhance that. Hi, Nikki. So I don't really have a message today other than to say, who would you be if you could love beyond the filters of what you see? And I'm going to go underneath my beautiful blanket and hope that you can still hear me. And realize that it's maybe something else, because our eyes, our organs are capable of tremendous evil. And there are countless studies that are based that on a glance of somebody's face will often rate them as more hostile or less intelligent or more dangerous, or even sit further away from them in the room based on one glance. Not that we need any of those studies, because we see glaring evidence of this every day, of who we rent homes to on Airbnb and who we hire, who we give pain medicine to, who we elect for presidents, and who we let into our personal space. And if I have any hope for our judgmental species on this day of love, it would be that we begin to try to trust our eyes, that we wait just a second longer, maybe just half a second, before we think we understand somebody's story. And this is not always easy to do, because this is the work of ignoring our intuition, our subtle sense of sight and touch. But until then, think back to those days of radio where we're deprived of our eyes, where we don't get to see any visual information of somebody's hairdo or outfit or skin color, or the way that they stand upwards or shiftily look to the side, or coming across as aggressive in their stance, but that we have to actually wait to listen and hear somebody's story before we make it up from a glance. And I was just thinking that maybe because of this patience and this openness, we start to connect with people that perhaps we wouldn't have in real life based on what our eyes tell us. And I think this makes us more open than evolution wired us to be, from this place of sensing danger and that prey aspect of humanity. And that there's this daring, loving tenderness actually in this place of not seeing, of not using our eyes to take us away from love, where we're no longer bodies, from this place under my tent where you can just hear my voice. There's no face. There's just the soul. There's just this frequency of encountering my voice to your ears. And that maybe from here, we might start to begin to get the empathy to take this rigid, seemingly moral arc of high standards back to connection. And this blanket fort, where in all its hulking, lumpy, hot, glorious furriness, is the perfect place to tune in and listen to what your heart is telling you, and that you cannot see when you are judging how much you can love and how much you can take in. Whoa, it's hot under there. From a place of receiving love, receiving the energy on how we show up in the world, and stop judging each other from this place of first glances and first impressions, and not to judge a book by its cover. And also to look at where you're being judging yourself out of love today, on this day that reminds us to love anyway, to love whatever arises, and be yourself, because you are multisensory. And when you learn the subtleties of how you show up in the world, then you can soften your heart towards the places and spaces where you judge yourself, and you go into the blind spots of love being blind. So I hope that you go out and see all the places that you have not been loving toward yourself, and all the places where you have not been loving outwardly to people around you. And that maybe the next time you're in a busy supermarket, or you encounter somebody in traffic, or wherever you are, that you just soften and close your eyes and feel that person and let them touch you. And let your smile and your heart touch their heart from that place, beyond the judgment of what our eyes tell us the world is, to make the world a kinder, softer, more empathetic, caring place where we come back and heal this great separation sickness. Come back to your hearts and know that I love you, regardless of how you think you need to show up or how you think you need to look. Just show up anyway, and allow others to see your light through your smile, through your words, through through your touch and through your gifts and capacities. And wherever you are, celebrate you, celebrate that you are love in a body, and that is evolution, right? To start a revolution, or what I call a re-lovution of remembering that you are love in physical form. And go out and share that with somebody today. And post your comments and questions if you are enjoying these little love notes. And let me know what you'd like to hear more about and what questions are coming up for you. And stay posted. I will be doing a webinar, probably on Thursday. That's totally free. All you have to do is commit to show up. And I'm going to take you through my 4 commitments of how to live a purposeful life in your gifts and in your talents, and how to get out of your own way so that you can start creating more of these heart connections. So what better gift for me to give you than to invite you into that. And also, it's this time of the year that I send out my 30-day self-love challenge. If you've taken it, I invite you to take it again, because you're not the same person that you were before. And if you haven't done the self-love challenge, join us. It is totally free and very valuable, according to some of the feedback that I've had about this. I think this is the 3rd year that it's running. And every day you're going to get a short soundbite, 20 minutes of rituality, of self-love, of written work, of meditations and activations to really help you to come back to your heart. So if that interests you, sign up. I'll post the link below. And I look forward to seeing you loving yourself into abundance and the freedom to live your life on purpose, in your truth, and share that as this infectious contagion for other people to receive and step into their own love and light. All right, guys, lots of love. Bye. Mwah.